everybody. Welcome to Build Brunch, their daily morning show where we talk about the latest topics in pop culture. I'm Brittany Jones-Cooper.
I'm Shannon Coffey.
I'm Allie Colbert.
And I'm Lucas Tim. Hi, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Today we're going to talk about Matthew McConaughey and Snoop Dogg's highest achievement and a unique prison in Britain that gives inmates a little freedom.
But first, guys, climate change is a hot topic in Washington and around the world with millions of people changing their habits to help save the planet. But would you give up having children because of climate change? Joining us to talk about birth strike is the host of In Case You Missed It by HuffPost, Heather Gardner.
Hey, thanks
Happy Monday.
Okay, so this birth strike phenomenon is something that I've sort of had like casual conversations about with friends, but I didn't know that women were actually considering this.
Yeah, it's not just women either. It's a lot of men, couples specifically, who are talking about all of the reasons why they will or will not have children, and now they're just considering climate change. And for these birth strikers, that is the number one reason. And they have declared, signed it into the universe, that they will not have children or have any more children because of climate change.
Wow, what do we feel about this? Does this feel extreme or?
It kind of does to me a little bit, but then when you think about it, like I've had these conversations, not necessarily about climate change, but just children in general with my husband and with my friends, like you've said, and the number one reason for me is money, but you know, climate change is another big thing too. It's another thing to consider in a list of things to consider when couples, women or men, decide to have children.
I have to say that after the UN climate change report came out last fall, and they basically said that by 2040, if we let it go up 1.5 degrees Celsius, that we're gonna see more floods, more extreme weather, people will be moving inland, more droughts. And I actually thought, well, if that's in my lifetime, is it worth bringing children into this?
Right, and that's really what the basis of these people, it's about 300 people who have signed, like I said, into the universe. There's nothing holding them to this, but they have declared.
Well,
and
it's
that
a
really,
Facebook group.
That's right, it's the Facebook group, it is, yeah.
Right.
Facebook will hold you to it.
And it's binding, yes, yes. No, but that is the number one reason. It's like, it's morally and ethically irresponsible, in their words, that's what they're saying, to bring children into the world for exactly that reason. Their life is going to be so much more difficult if you subscribe to everything that the scientists have said. That their life is going to be really, really hard. And then also, who's going to pay for it? They're just we're putting our problems now onto the future generations, and they, again, think it's morally and ethically irresponsible.
Yeah, this is something I've been thinking about for years, because even though I want my own children, and I think that would be like so much fun, there's too many people, and I see that on the daily when there's just crowded streets and people like falling onto the subway tracks because we're all crammed into tight spaces. And so I feel like I've made the decision where I'm more realistically thinking I'm probably gonna adopt. And so I hope that people who are thinking about this really think about adopting, because there's so many children out there who really would love to be part of a family. There's so many kids born into the world that just don't even stand a shot. Like they don't have anyone right now. So I feel like that would be a great movement.
Yeah, it really is. That's part of this movement as well. It's just the birth part of it that they're on strike. It's not that they're not going to parent. And they did say that, you know, scientists, again, with going back to the UN report and everything, the worst thing that we can do to this planet is add more people. And so they're not going to do that. But they will be parents by adopting or fostering in that way, because those children are already here and they need loving homes too. So they're going to parent in other different ways. They're just not going to add to an already overpopulated planet.
This also seems like a great out if your partner really wants to have kids and you don't, just blame it on climate change.
There you go, exactly. Sorry, babe. I made up my mind.
Yeah. You mentioned the Facebook page, but tell us a little more about what that page, like, so 300 people have joined the group so far?
Now I wish I could tell you all the details.
I mean, 300 people.
Quite a movement, right?
It's a movement, guys.
I wish that I could tell you like all of the juicy details on the inside, but when I went to go take a look at it, you actually do have to like sign this pledge before they let you in. So I did not get in, and not to burst anyone's bubble, and I know my husband is watching. I have not decided that, you know. So I didn't go ahead and take the pledge. But at 300 people, it does seem small, but think about how any movement gets started. And this, when I was looking up the articles for all of this stuff too, there were so many different people who have talked about this, and it's just getting it out into the mainstream. So even though 300 people have decided this, like, we're talking about it now. And that's really the point of what they're trying to do, is just get the word out there. Again, if you are considering to not have children for a list of reasons, also consider climate change as one of those reasons.
This is such an interesting interesting issue to me, and like when reading about it, I was really torn because, of course, I believe women should have every right to control their bodies, and this is a legitimate reason not to have children. But on the other hand, I'm an optimist, and I believe I really believe our best days are ahead of us, but we have to work for it.
Yep.
And I understand how disheartening it can be when you look at the news and our current state of our political affairs. But you know, you look at some leaders like Congresswoman AOC, who's trying to lead the fight in the Green New Deal, but she recently just said like she understands that women going on this boat strike.
And like I said, 300 people may seem so small, but how many followers does AOC have?
Right.
So many. And she's the one who's kind of making this specific movement going on strike from having children a little bit more mainstream, because she said in a live stream, she proposed this question: is it irresponsible of us to add more children into the mix because of everything we're dealing with now and because of everything that they're going to have to deal with in the future? If we don't fix this problem, life is just going to be so much harder.
Do you think this topic in particular will be one talked about in 2020 in the debates?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, it's a part of a full-reaching, like, climate change. It's not going away. We've seen that. We've tried to push it. Some people, let's rephrase ourselves, some people have decided to push it aside, that it's not really happening, but every shred of evidence that has come out in the entire world is against that. So, yes, and I do believe what AOC is doing by putting it out there front, even though she's not running for president, people have backed her up who are running for president, who want to get the Green New Deal through, and want to ask these really serious questions. Should we bring more people into this world?
Right.
Along with all the other
and
questions.
it's actually maybe a new perspective to many people who disagree with her, and maybe that don't understand what the crisis that we're in, that people were thinking about not producing more people.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not an expert on, what the science behind climate change, but I do realize that it is a huge problem that we're dealing with already, and that my future children might have to deal with. But like we said, there's so many other reasons to consider having children or not, and money is the number one thing, and that of course folds into political stuff. We've seen that with every single presidential candidate coming up in 2020, including AOC, who's just backing Elizabeth Warren, and all of these other people who are really pushing for child care costs to come down, and that's the number one reason why millennials and why people of childbearing age are just deciding not to have children, is because it's too expensive, and climate change is just going to add to that expense. It's all kind of folded into one.
I was gonna say it's all connected to me. Like if you're gonna pick money as a reason, then climate change is tied into that, because everything will be more expensive.
Right.
We'll have less resources, less access to everything.
And just so you know, there's other
Pretty
ways
depressing,
too.
actually.
We just want to start the show off on a happy note.
I was like, this is such a
Happy
depressing.
Monday!
Monday.
Welcome to Build Brunch. Don't have kids.
The earth is burning.
The earth
literally.
is burning. No. But there is, I think another part of this group too is not necessarily like shaming people who decide that they do want to have kids, because that's a very personal decision. And there are other ways to help climate change without deciding that you don't want to have kids. You can have a plant-based diet. You can not drive your car. You can not fly on planes. And all of those seem like really extreme things to get rid of, in the same way that not having children.
But we've got to make changes. I know New York City just passed a law where they're going to charge people $10 for driving below 60th Street.
Below 60, it's going to $10. $10. You're going to pay it, and it's going to raise about $1 billion a year.
$10
So to improve our public transportation and
Per
decrease
car.
pollution
Per
and
day
all the
everything.
congestion around the city.
Oh,
So I think
interesting.
we see cities trying to make these efforts to make the world greener.
They
and
also
hopefully that
passed
catches on.
the ban on plastic bags too. So I mean, there's baby steps, but I think baby steps, pun not intended there. No, but I think the idea is to just start having these conversations, so these baby steps turn into huge steps, and this is just another part of that.
Well, from your lips to God's ears. Thank you for joining us today, Heather.
Thank you.
And you can catch In Case You Missed It by HuffPost on HuffPost.com and Yahoo's Roku channel. Thanks.
Matthew McConaughey and Snoop Dogg stopped by Jimmy Kimmel Live to promote their new movie, The Beach Bum. The two dished on some on-set pranks that took place. Take a look.
Look, I got my prop joints, which are oregano. I talked to Snoop. I said, these are my prop joints, oregano, because I know I'm going to be pulling. He said, yeah, I got that. So all of a sudden we go do the scene. And it's about an 8-minute take. It's a long take if you're passing a joint back and forth and you're smoking hardcore to the heels
Snoop
of
Dogg
your
stuff.
feet.
Yeah.
So the scene goes on, and right after the scene, I just feel like, man, I'm not sure that was prop. And I look over, and Snoop goes, yo, Moondog, that wasn't prop weed, that was Snoop weed. Oh, I said, okay, man. I said, buckle up, because here we go. This is the first take of the night. I didn't say another word of English, really. You said I rapped a lot.
You rapped for 13 hours straight.
I just assumed that Matthew McConaughey was always high anyway, so this.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I don't think he's bothered by this, is because I'm pretty sure he is a stoner. But if this was like someone who wasn't a stoner, I would be pissed at Snoop Dogg. I wouldn't think this was funny.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, it is kind of scary when you think like someone could just switch your joint and all of a sudden you're super high on a film set. Like I would be, like I'm so bad at acting when I'm high. Like I remember I was in this very like intensive acting course where you had to do like characters where you just like, you know, transform, and every week I would kill it. And then one week I was like, oh, I'll go high and this will be great. And I literally, like halfway through the class, my teacher pulled me aside and was like, hey, you're playing yourself in every scene. And I was like, really? Because in my head I was like, I am an old, wise woman. I'm a sexy little teen boy. Like I was like doing so many different things in my head. And like literally, nothing was coming out. So like that would be terrifying to me.
That is so funny you say that. I think it's like when you're really high, you think that you're like fooling people.
Right.
But you look so like, I perform stand-up a lot and I never perform high, but a few weeks ago my stomach was really hurting me, so I smoked before I went on stage. And I like thought that I was like crushing and like was like taking these like living in those silences kind of. Just like I thought I had like a new style. And like I listened back to the recording and I'm just on stage just like not talking really.
I was gonna say, I'm not good when I smoke in public, so this would be, they'd have to shut down production for probably like 2 days with me for me to like gather myself back. Because it sounds like he was taking like really long drags, like he was really
He
taking
said
it in.
smoking hardcore.
For like 8 minutes. So if you're taking like legit pulls for 8 minutes.
How do you not know the second you take that first
That's
hit?
the thing. He probably, I don't know, maybe thought it was really good oregano.
Also, this film is not one of the Matthew McConaughey Academy Award nominated films. This is Return to Roots. I would
this
think.
isn't Dallas Buyers Club?
This is not Dallas
didn't
Buyers
know.
Club. This is a movie that the Matthew McConaughey we knew and loved from back in the day. I mean, I had not heard anything about it. It comes out like it already came out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we didn't even know about it. So I don't know. I mean, I guess they're kind of that lax, fun environment, and I think Snoop Dogg is just a gem. I mean, just
He really is.
he really is such just space. I love his
Stories
commentary.
like this, you know he's a good guy.
You know he's a good guy.
He drugs people.
His comments on Kanye West's like posts are hysterical. His political things are funny. Martha
Lucas is like,
Stewart.
Snoop, amazing man.
But I think it really
I'm all
is.
about it.
When you look at how wide his friend group is, all the
Yeah.
different people that he vibes with, he really
Yeah.
is this like beacon of love and energy. Like I bet he's not worried about climate change. He's like, we're gonna fix
Well,
it.
he-
He has a belief.
He could
you
bring
know?
people together. He just has
Yeah.
like I also love the older white ladies who love him, Martha, Madonna. He just has a group of people like what? How are they friends? But they are good friends. It's
Yeah.
just-
Yeah.
It's a good group.
I have a memory of me being like, I think I was like 15 when my dad brought me to New York and we went to TRL specifically to stand outside and wave at Snoop Dogg. And like me and my dad both love him, and my dad will get more excited for Snoop's birthday than like any of our
Really?
family members, and he'll like text me at 3 a.m. and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like he's like, it's Snoop Dogg's birthday.
That's amazing.
Does he
Yeah.
celebrate any special way for Snoop Dogg?
Yes.
Yeah, we can fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I do love Snoop though, and I feel like I'll watch any show that he's on. So I might see this movie.
I don't know if I was talking about this.
I would get high. before
Yeah, I
seeing
might
this
get
movie.
high and watch
Yeah.
the movie.
Definitely, it's a requirement.
Did you like Spring Breakers?
I did not see it.
Oh, really? Did you
Same
guys
track.
watch it?
I watched it.
Yeah.
I can't remember him in it. I just remember James Franco.
No, but it's
No.
Harmony Korine is the director.
Oh.
So he made, yeah, so it's gonna be a similar vibe.
She was so stoned
Yeah,
while watching
so I
Spring
was
Breakers. She does
you
not
were
remember
like,
Snoop
wait,
where was
Dogg.
Snoop
What?
Dogg in that? I was working on a shoot one time. I don't think I've told this story on the show. And Snoop Dogg was on the shoot, and I had to fill his dressing room with like
Oh.
tons of food.
Yeah.
Like chicken and waffles and Doritos and like Sprite and like so much food. And he just got so high he never showed up. And I brought all that home, and then I had like a Snoop Dogg party just with like every food that was on his rider. It was great. I had food for weeks.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You should just have like an annual Snoop Dogg party. Just
With
to
all of his
yeah,
favorite
with all,
things.
with all of his favorite food.
Yeah.
That's actually awesome.
I know. I ran around all day getting all that stuff, and then
Right.
I called his managers or whoever I was talking to. I was like, "Where's Snoop?" They're like, "He's playing video games. He's not gonna make it." And then he started driving, and he called himself. He was like, "I can't get there. I'm like 3 hours away." He was stoned.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Good guy.
Good guy.
Good guy. We love Snoop. Well, a prison in the UK is making headlines for its unconventional approach to security, allowing prisoners to lock and unlock their own cells. Prison guards must knock before entering cells, and inmates are even provided with laptops. If that's the case, lock us up. Lock us up. Lock us up. Woo!
Yes,
Me
I
and
want to
Hillary.
live in a little prison dorm room.
Yeah, well, I
Sounds
mean,
awesome.
and you know, the moral component of this, I agree with. Like, prisoners should be treated like humans with dignity. Prison should be about rehabilitation and
Right.
providing giving people education to better themselves. But the unlocking and the locking up, I mean, you're essentially just in the dorm room, kind of. Then,
Yeah.
if you're able to,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm kind of want to leave the prison cell. So you unlock and you walk down the hall, like say hi to the guards. I imagine it's kind of like a, you know, like a rehab center, like spa almost.
I
a
mean,
little
believe
bit.
me, that looks like a nice little rehab center.
Yeah, they don't even call themselves, they call them rooms.
I'm
So you-
sure the crimes that
Yes.
Yes.
warrant being locked up in this prison are very selective.
So I think this was like, they said category C. It's basically people who like can't live in like the communal, like dorm-like spaces, but they're not like gonna cause trouble. So I would say probably
we all could qualify for category
some,
C.
well, some like drug offenses, you know, they're not violent people.
Yeah.
They're not gonna like try to beat up or shiv somebody in the shower.
Yeah,
Right.
I
So
would
they
hope
get
not.
freedom.
This isn't Oz.
No,
Like, this is
more like
Yeah.
Litchfield from Orange is the New Black.
Yes.
But like a
but even maybe
yeah.
less, even more like these are people just like little crimes or whatever.
I do think this is important
Looks
though,
like
because
a college library.
people do not get rehabilitated in prison, and oftentimes they come out committing other crimes just
Right.
to survive, or because things they learned in prison that were negative. And I think if you create a space that is more positive and create more outlets for like expression and education, that I think that behooves everybody. Like
Yeah.
it seems like we should have been doing this already, but
I don't think this will ever happen in America because we have issues.
oh, our prisons make way too much money.
Yeah,
for them to ever
no
do
way.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
And we really get off on making people feel like shit and having no value in themselves for some reason. I don't understand why we do that, but I don't understand how we expect people to go to prison where we like spit on them and we torture them and we're like, you guys are nothing, and then like come back and be like, here,
Right.
try to get a job.
Right.
Right.
Oh, also nobody wants to hire you, by the
Right.
way, and they're still gonna disrespect you. It's so bad.
And also, you can never vote for the rest of your
yeah,
life.
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
like that's not cool.
Imagine like not having any sort of resentment. Like no, like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna feel if I had that, I'd be like, yeah.
I
F all
wonder
of
if we were all in prison if we would be friends on the inside.
you. Ooh.
Probably not. I heard like you're not friends with the people you're friends on the outside.
Right.
No, I would
Yeah.
be strategic. I would, no offense, I'd get like more ripped friends.
Oh, I would be. I would be
Excuse me.
bench pressing every single day.
Excuse me.
Well, you're the rippest, but
I'm
seriously,
like rip, bro.
still,
Not-
yeah.
Like you need.
I
Yeah.
would need an even more ripped Lucas
But no
though, to
offense,
survive.
I mean, I'm trying to pick who would be the most strategic one to align. I mean, I think
I don't know. Set It Off used to be my favorite movie.
I think Brittany.
so-
I would definitely side with Brittany. I mean, I think I
Really?
would try to form an alliance there and like get in with her crew for sure.
I just
have
know
the
you got to kill
crazy-
somebody right away, and I'm
Yeah.
willing to do that to set the tone for
I'm
the
willing
rest of
to
my
do that.
imprisonment.
I'm an asshole.
I'm gonna be lighting myself
I'm
on
afraid
fire
people will look at you and be
most
like,
of the time.
you might make an enemy too quickly.
Oh.
You might say a comment and a joke and be like, what did you just
You
say?
think I'm gonna be stupid in prison?
No, you're smart, but you can't help it. You can't help a good joke.
My friend made a funny joke the other day. She's a comedian, Rosebud Baker. She was making a joke about how when people start comedy, it's kind of like when you're in prison. She's like, just because we were friends on the outside doesn't mean I'm gonna be friends with you in comedy.
Yeah.
And like, I think it's really true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see if these prisoners or like dudes hanging out in dorm rooms that in a prison are online, because last week I just found meetinmate.com and you get to like see their profiles, and a lot of them are really funny and kind of hot.
Ooh, wow,
so I feel
Shannon.
like these guys like
Uh-oh.
they have their own laptops. We could be chatting 24/7.
Prison princess.
Yeah, I feel like, you know what?
Shannon.
Yeah, the women are also really cool. There was
Yeah.
one girl who called herself a prison princess, and she was like, I'm currently incarcerated, but I'm
Oh,
not
no.
letting it get me down. And I
Yeah.
was like, that's the kind of positivity I need in my life.
Shannon, can I please monitor these interactions?
Yes.
You just made me so afraid. Like,
Why?
are you really talking to prisoners?
No, not yet. I haven't chosen my batch. I'm going to
I
choose
was
three.
interested in sending something with you.
Yeah.
This was a great idea.
Like if you imagine,
Okay.
you imagine you're in prison and then you get a letter, you open it up, and it's like, Allie and I, we send you a pic. We're like, hey man, we're two stoners who do comedy. You'd be like, this is great. I'm definitely gonna rehabilitate myself and get out there and hang out with these comedians.
Yeah, but I'm
Cool.
afraid that Shannon, you're gonna be doing
Thank
this all.
you.
You're gonna be visiting the prison with like your 50 prisoners that you all love because you're a loving person.
That's what I'm like. I'm
Listen.
concerned
Yeah.
that your heart is so open that
Yeah.
you will have like too personal interactions, and they'll come out and be like, "Can I stay at your place?"
We're
like,
both
"Yeah,
trying to
man."
increase our social media engagement. And if these are the
Yeah.
followers we're looking for, they're open, they're available, they have Wi-Fi access.
Honestly, they sound committed as fuck. Like, they committed crimes, and now they're gonna commit, you know, being good fans to us. And, like, literally, like, I think stand-up specials have been kind of stale lately. So, like, imagine if my stand-up special is in a prison.
Like Johnny Cash.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, okay, I see it. Just don't let any of them sleep on your couch when they get out, okay?
Right.
Make that
What's
promise
wrong
to me
with
right
sleeping
now.
on a couch?
Okay.
I remember when the Kathy Griffin episode, when she went to a prison, in My Life on the D-List. You guys used to watch that
Yeah,
show?
I
And
remember
she
that.
went to My Life, and she's walking down, and someone yells, "I'm gonna kill you!" And she's like, "Get in line, sweetie, get in line." But yeah, comics going to prisons, I think it is a positive thing for them to do.
Speaking of people sleeping on your couch, my friend, this was my friend in college, she was living with someone, she found a homeless guy on the street, she found him to be kind of endearing, and he needed to be cleaned up, so she brought him back to her apartment, gave him a shower, let him sleep on the couch, and was like having him crash there for a few days, and her roommate got pissed off because her roommate she didn't tell her roommate just walked home and found this guy on the couch. Do you think that's grounds to not be roommates with that
Oh,
person?
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
I think you do that if you live in a studio apartment by yourself.
Yeah.
That
I have a friend who
is
took in a
rude.
homeless guy. His named Homeless Jimmy, and he would like dog sit her dog when she was out of town, and he would stay in her place. But she like did the same thing, but it was her space. And if you make that decision, I think you have to be in a studio or a one-bedroom.
Yeah.
His name was Homeless Jimmy. Like, he didn't stand a chance. That
His
sucks.
mother named him Homeless
Don't
Jimmy.
do that to your kids.
Names mean something.
Yeah.
Names have power. All right, guys. Well, attention Game of Thrones fans. It looks like the Mother of Dragons may not be the only queen seeking the Iron Throne. Leaked production photos show Queen Bey, yeah, that's right, Beyonce, singing an original song while riding one of Daenerys' fire-breathing dragons.
I'm pumped.
Guys,
I can't wait for this.
Well,
that is
because-
the only thing that can make Game of Thrones better.
I
is
know.
Beyonce.
So if you read the books, you know that there is a false Targaryen storyline that the show is not included. Now I'm thinking that this is now their way to include it in the final episodes of the false Targaryen claiming claim to the Iron Throne.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is great. I think like Game of Thrones already, like people are so excited about it, and to just have an icon like Beyonce kind of just like add that much more enthusiasm to it, like that really gets me excited, and that's getting like my sisters who don't watch,
Right.
they're excited because they love Beyonce.
Yeah.
I know, I was thinking so many new people are gonna watch Game of Thrones because of this, and I just cannot wait. Like, what is she gonna look like?
I know. Hope she's like a dragon arm.
That's the thing. Like, is she gonna have an accent? Like, where is she gonna be from? I don't know. I'm nervous because Beyonce acting, sometimes I get nervous.
Hey, obsessed?
Whoa.
You come in here
I
and you
just said
touch my
sometimes
child?
I get nervous, but I love, and also her having this song for this season.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's like another opportunity for her.
Well,
to
Ed
win it.
Sheeran got to have a cameo.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. Ed Sheeran, I was so angry when Ed
hated
Sheeran
that.
showed up in Game of Thrones. I was like, I might tune out for this episode. Honestly,
Like we had
Ed
a little
Sheeran.
mini Ed Sheeran concert. Like, that's not what?
that's
Arya
not
just
how
sitting
he
there like,
wants that.
that's not Arya. Arya
Yeah.
wouldn't like this. Arya would be like, fuck this guy.
Right.
Seriously, she would have just cut him up real quick.
Real
Like,
quick.
Shut up, you ugly ginger.
Well, I don't think Beyonce's gonna have that effect on viewers because this story's not real.
April Fool! No one bought it.
Did you guys buy it at all? Yeah.
Did you really?
Like nodding
You
heads.
trust us
Wait.
that much?
Oh,
It's
guys,
not
we didn't
real?
tell Shannon.
Oh shit. Oh.
Guys,
I thought you were supposed to tell her.
Wait, I
thought you
prepared.
told
There's
her. I thought-
like a card and everything with bullet points for the conversation. Like, this is not a real story.
no,
shit.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I should have told you.
April Fool, Shannon.
I still think we should murder Ed Sheeran.
Okay.
Wow.
And then go to
Vote.
prison in the UK.
Yay! And he'll get a laptop and a
Yeah.
key to his cell room. Is
yes,
that what they call it, cell rooms?
Speaking of murdering Ed Sheeran, how far is too far on April Fools?
Ooh. I don't love getting pranked.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but I think on April Fool's is the day to do it.
I made my friend cry once. I never did one after
Really?
that.
What did you do?
In middle school, one of my friends told my other friend to tell her that I was gonna go to boarding school, and my brother did the same and was leaving like in a couple months when the semester ended or whatever, and she cried, and I was like,
Wow.
whoa, you really like me, and I feel terrible at myself, and
Yeah.
but also pretty good because it was a successful April Fool's. But I never did one after that because you peak
Yeah.
so early.
Yeah. When
Make someone cry.
When I was little, I was watching a lot of Nickelodeon where there was like sliming and like pieing, and I one time took a pie with whipped cream and I pied my mom.
Oh.
And I've never pranked anyone again.
Yeah.
I thought it would be really funny at the time, and it was just like really sad and horrible. And like, I feel so bad, and I felt guilty for like 20 years, and like, I'm so sorry, Mom.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sad.
I know, it's like, I have such a, like, moms are so vulnerable.
Yes.
Like, don't prank your mom.
Do not
They
Prank
get-
anyone else. Like, how could you prank a mom?
Oh my God, you're okay. She
No,
forgives
but like, do you know what I mean? I just like could cry thinking about my mom.
No, I 100% know. I like can remember like the few moments where I said something to my mom that wasn't cool. Like I'd be like, I'm not feeling you right now, and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm a monster.
Yeah.
That's why I hate those people who go viral from having like accounts where they harass their mom and like yell at them while they're like relaxing. I'm like, you're gonna kill her.
That is the least cool thing in the world when you are rude to your parents.
I know.
I don't
Sorry,
understand
I know
it.
this is going in a weird
No, it's
direction.
a little
but,
bit.
like,
It's an
I hate
important
that.
PSA for young viewers.
Like the Kardashians, the way they talk to Kris Jenner.
Oh my God, they are
Right.
so ungrateful.
My mom would end my life.
Well, that's why I think some children deserve spanking.
Right, they do. I've never spoken
Some kids
back.
are assholes and need spanking. That's my philosophy.
Agreed. And I've never spoken back to my mom, except we were on the phone last week, and she's very into Game of Thrones now, which relates to the story. And she said, like, she's reading really serious. She's like, what if Tyrion's dad, you know, the one who died, is the Night King? First time I was like, Mom, that was so dumb. Mom, that is dumb. Only time I ever got mad at her because it was about Game of Thrones. But other than that, we're best friends.
Wow, that's good. That's not bad at all.
I just always consistently do whatever my mom has told me to do, and I never talk back. I always thought it was so disrespectful.
Really, you were perfect?
I kind of, if you ask her, I never talk back to her because I think I have like a sharp tongue, and I never wanted to say something that I couldn't take back. So I would just take it. I would let her yell at me, and I'd be like, and that would make her mad. She's like, you never say anything back. I'm like, you don't want me to.
Yeah. I think also birth order, like, you have lots of older siblings.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, the youngest always kind of picks up on like, all right, I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah,
like,
'cause it's
I've
not
seen my
worth
mom
it.
make mistakes.
But then also younger siblings are such brats. I mean,
I know,
my
it
younger
can go
brother
either
with my
way.
mom, they have a great relationship, but they also are like Dina and Lindsay Lohan a little bit. Like they're
Right.
more friends, more so than my brother, me and my older brother with my mom. Like Daniel had more of like a rapport with my mom. Was like, I'm gonna talk back, and like we're like friends, like
Oh, yeah.
girl fix that hair kind of thing once in a while. I would never say that to my mom, but that's just their special bond.
See, I do
Yeah.
have this bond with my mom too. I can
Right.
be the most honest.
So however bad like these bad April Fools are, I also think it's bad like when you just have an April Fool's that you like put a lot of effort into, but it's just not funny.
Yeah.
That's also just like horribly sad.
I had a good one because I was a travel reporter for 2 years, so people were used to seeing me go all over the place. And so I posted one that was just like a plane and a sun, and I was like, off to North Korea, like cannot wait to explore. I'll see you guys when I get back. And everybody believed it. And people were like, Brittany, please be careful. Like, North Korea is not a good place to go. And my mom called me and she just wrote what on the comment, and then she called me and she was like, what? And I was like, I'm joking.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
But that one stuck.
I feel like North Korea would love to have you. I feel like they'd be like,
Oh, Kim
yeah,
Jong-un
Brittany
would be
from Bill?
obsessed with you. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Oh, you would have, for sure,
Wait,
your
why
own talk
would you be
show.
obsessed with her?
Because he loves them, like he loves certain American figures. I feel like you really love Britney, but you'd be like, of course, a prisoner. A prisoner.
He loves Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, I'm just like this.
No, I think he would like you. But and then also this week, Beyonce had a really big week, guys. If you saw, you know, the GLAAD Media Awards, her and Jay-Z won the Vanguard Award. But also, if you guys watch Drag Race, Shangela, who was runner-up a few seasons ago in All Stars, performed a medley. And to honor Beyonce, which I could not think of something more intimidating than to perform a Beyonce medley in front of Beyonce.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
And she killed it, and Beyonce gave her a standing O. So just like,
A standing orgasm.
standing orgasm
yeah,
and
just
ovation.
snorting
Stood
out.
up and just came.
that good though.
Honestly, she was that good though, so I wouldn't be surprised. Beyonce looked very impressed.
Beyonce was also at the NAACP Awards.
Yeah.
It's not a
and
standing up.
They
You don't-
received an honor there, but it was also made news because Omari Hardwick
Double.
kept kissing her. Did you guys see that clip?
Wait, no, sorry, I'm still on the standing up.
Oh, an orgasm?
What were you saying?
I was gonna say at the NAACP Awards, Omari Hardwick greeted her with a kiss and then a hug, and then went back for a second kiss, lingered.
Okay.
And
This
Beyonce
thing-
fans were like,
What is he, Joe Biden?
right.
Oh, topical humor.
He's just like massaging her shoulder.
That thread. Oh my gosh. This is like the scariest
Joe
video
Biden
ever.
kissed me on the forehead, and I haven't slept in a decade.
It's so
Literally
scary.
something like that. There was my favorite, well, not favorite Joe Biden thing. One of the weirdest things when he gets off a plane and he sees Hillary and he hugs Hillary and just holds her. Hillary's like this.
Yeah, she's like literally like,
he's like
she's like beating his arm, like, let me go. And he's like,
We
oh.
laugh, but like, you know, learn boundaries.
Right.
Yeah,
He has no
seriously.
boundaries.
Bad.
He's just so doofy.
Yeah. But you know who was at the NAACP Awards? Cory Booker and Kamala Harris. And
Yeah.
Kamala Harris got a great picture of Jay-Z. So I think the Carter family is ready to make an endorsement soon. And if that happens, comma may have a good
Wait,
shot.
is that where Chris Rock made the?
Yes.
The joke.
Made a joke with Jussie Smollett.
Yeah.
SNL went in on Jesse too. I mean, you're not.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that sketch? Actually, did
I
you
didn't
find?
see the sketch.
They're just making fun of like him coming up with excuses for things. I mean, look, I think you can be on whatever other side you want to be on, but it's still a public thing. SNL can still make fun of it.
course.
People,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
they don't owe him anything.
Right.
It was a huge national story, and they made fun of it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Standing
Well,
out.
that's all from us, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same table.